Right, the perfect squares rule is just another tool, like a shortcut, I guess, for us to be able to expand a set of brackets if they're presented in a particular way. So if they're in the form of something plus something all squared, like in this case a plus b all squared, then I can sort of just straight away just expand that without having to go through splitting the gangs, writing it all out. I can jump straight to this. So let's go through an example. We'll go through the example I've got here, and then I'll give you guys one to work on. All right, we got 2x minus 3 all squared. Now you might look at that and go, hang on, that's not something plus something. Just pause for a second. Don't panic. Let's have a look. Tip number 1 is split this into its two terms. Okay, wherever there's a plus or a minus, it's the start of a new term. That is my A, that is my B, okay, including the negative. So I can jump straight to this, the a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, using this is my A and this is my B. So a squared is going to be 2x squared because that was my A. A is 2x. So a squared plus 2 times a times b. Now this is the way I like to do it, is put brackets. So 2 times a, well we said a was 2x, and we're multiplying it by b. Well, my b is negative 3. So this bit here is my 2ab. That's what this is up here. Got the 2, that's my a value, that's my b value, and then finally it's plus b squared. Well, that's going to be minus 3 squared because b is minus 3. This is this using the a and the b from my expression. So let's go through and tidy all that up. 2x squared is 2x times 2x. So 2 squared is 4 and x squared. Because if I did 2x times 2x, I'd get 4x squared. This is going to be 2 times 2x, which is 4x. 4x times negative 3, it's going to be a negative 12x. Now, if you're not good with negative numbers, use your calculator. But let's go through it. If we do the numbers first, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 3 is 12. I've got positive, positive, and a negative. There's an odd number of negatives, so it becomes a negative answer, but don't forget the x. Lastly, negative 3 squared. Well, negative 3 times negative 3 is going to be a positive 9 because two negatives make a positive, and that is what we got over here. All right, the same answer we got. All right, I'm going to give you guys one that's a little bit harder. Have a go at this. I'll pause for a second. I'll put it up, and you can have a go at this one. It's going to be harder because it has a fraction in it. But don't panic. You can do it. All right. You might think, Toddy, that's a bit rude. I've got fractions. I've got negatives. Follow the process. Follow the process of what we just did in the previous question. I'm going to pause it. You guys have a go at it. We'll come back in a second, and we'll talk through my solution. See you on the flip side. All right. Hopefully you did okay with this. Let's walk through my solution. I've split them wherever there was a plus or minus. So that's my A and that's my B. They're my two halves. Now I can just put them into my formula, which was a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So replacing the a with 2m plus 2 times the a times the b. The b is a negative quarter, plus b squared, so a negative a quarter squared. Now I've just got to go through and tidy all that up. 2m squared, well 2 squared is 4, m squared is m, 4m squared. Now I've got minus m for this next bit because, well, let's do the numbers first. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times a negative a quarter. If you're not sure, put it in your calculator, works out to be negative 1. Remember, in algebra we don't write the ones in front of the m. So I've just multiplied that by that by that to get that. And the last bit is negative a quarter squared. Once again, if you're not sure, put it in your calculator. It ends up being a positive 1 over 16. That was a pretty tricky one, but the process, it's the same. It doesn't matter whether it's whole numbers, positives, negatives, split it into its A and B, and just whack them into that old formula, tidy it up, and you're good to go. All right, well done.